What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV and welcome back to another episode of Good Morning Tottenham, another live stream show for you guys. We've got a bit of news to get through today. We're going to go through Romano's reaction in terms of the Romero and Milenkovic stills, and we've got a few other bits and pieces to talk to you about as well. And just to let you know, we are taking calls to get your opinions on all matters relating to Tottenham as well. So link is in your community section right now. So if you want to come on and have your say, or just chat about anything Tottenham Hotspur related, do come on and click the link in the community section. But the first bit of news that we're going to be talking about, well, not really news, but it's reaction really, from Fabrizio Romano. We spoke about last night in the Tottenham update. We spoke about yesterday at the end of the Good Morning Tottenham. We were in a bit of a meltdown, how we were saying that Tottenham are not going to be matching Atalanta's valuation of Cristian Romero. Jules Koundé looks like he's on the way to Chelsea, so he's definitely out the door. So we were kind of left in a bit of a pickle yesterday. You know, we were thinking about, you know, even Plan B, and Kurt Zouma seemed to be out the door. You know, he's used in a make weight to go to Sevilla. So it's interesting because it seemed as though it didn't seem like the deal was dead yesterday, but it seemed like people were definitely pouring cold water on the deal on Romero to come to Tottenham. But
they know exactly the right things to say to trigger Tottenham fans. Yeah. These people, they know exactly the right words. Anything about difference in price or cheap skating, they know Tottenham fans are going to automatically react to that.
Yeah, it's true. And but Fabrizio Romano, after all that news broke yesterday, still seems quite confident and positive of a move of Romero to Tottenham. And what he said in his Twitch last night is, he says there is a possibility that Tottenham will sign both Romero and Milenkovic this summer, which is really interesting. And I think if we can get two players like that through the door, it'd be amazing for us.
That's what we said, isn't it? If Milenkovic is going to be at such a price at 15 million euros, and if Paratici and Spurs have scouted him and thought he could definitely add a lot of value to the squad, then why not get him and Romero in? I think Romero is a must. I think we all know that. I think Romero's the one defender who could really help propel us into a different kind of level defensively. But we all know that we can't at the moment rely on Dyer and Sanchez. One of them needs to go. So I think if we had Romero, Milenkovic, just Dyer and Rodon for next season, that's four very good centre, and Tanganga there as well. That's four very good centre backs, and that's four or five centre backs to choose from where we can be confident going into next season that maybe we could start having a solid back four and challenging again. But if we were only to get Romero, and then we would still have Sanchez and Dyer then, I think we'd improve, but I don't think it would be enough to be where we want to be.
Agreed.
Which is back in that top four.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. So I think we need, like, even if it isn't Milenkovic, I do think we need another one apart from Romero.
The way I look at it is Romero is that kind of really aggressive centre-back that will step out into the midfield, go and search for that ball, really be on you like a ton of bricks. And Milenkovic is more of that towering centre-back that you know, you can't beat in the air and what have you. So I think that could be actually a match made in heaven, those two.
Definitely, I completely agree, because Romero is a lot more comfortable on the ground. He's a lot more comfortable manoeuvring around the back four, covering a lot of ground and space. As you say, he likes to press. He's very used to pressing aggressively inside the opposition half. He's very used to that, winning the ball high up the pitch. Whereas
did you see his heat map last year for Atalanta? Like, the majority of, like, the thickest part of the green was like by the halfway line.
That's how Atalanta play.
It's true.
So they play super aggressive. They're one of the most aggressive teams in Europe.
Yeah,
like if not exactly. So I don't think we're going to be as aggressive as that, but I definitely think we're going to be a lot more aggressive than we were last season under Jose, where a lot of the time we were sitting very deep and waiting for moments to counter-attack and stuff like that. In terms of Milenkovic, you're right. He's very tall. I think 6'5" or 6'4", very tall centre-back who's very dominant in the air, but is also known not to be a bit of a slouch. He's got a bit of mobility about him as well, and not like a Fazio or something like that. So I do think, in theory, it's definitely a partnership that could definitely work, or we could definitely build upon. They're both young as well, 23 years old. So they've got time on their side. They can grow together. They could be our centre-back partnership for many years to come. So it would be exciting if we can get both through the door. But I guess maybe it's a case of if we can get the price down for Romero, then we can get Milenkovic as well on top of him. Maybe that's what they're thinking. Or if not, I guess it also depends if we can find a buyer for Sanchez. With Zuma going to Sevilla now, it's a bit of a blow in terms of we know Sevilla wanted Sanchez and they were interested. And whether they're going to go for him now is probably unlikely, seeing as they're getting Zuma in place of Koundé. So it's about finding another club who's going to stump up the cash for Sanchez that maybe Sevilla were going to. So that's going to be a difficult one.
At the end of the day, when Romano first broke that it's either Romero or three of the defenders that will cost the same amount as a Romero, you look at the kind of big clubs in the Premier League and what they've done. You know, Liverpool didn't sign 3 players; they went for a Van Dijk. You know what I mean? Like Man City last year didn't go for 3 defenders; they went for a Ruben Dias. You know, Man United, they haven't gone for 3 players; they went for a Maguire, and then a few years later they went for a Rafael Varane. You know what I mean? Big clubs push the boat out and get the best option available. And in my opinion, I think Cristian Romero probably is the most viable and best option available to us. So if we don't...
We made this mistake before, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly. And if we don't get him over the line, like it's clear that he wants to come. It's clear the valuation missing between the 2 clubs is not even that much. It's like a £7 million. Yes, it's a lot of money in terms of how much money it is, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much money. So just go out and get him, man. Just go out and get him. There's 2 weeks to the start of the season. We need him to bed in as well. We need him to get his fitness levels up. We need him to get in a bit of pre-season, man. We don't have time to waste right now. Go out there and get the guy in already.
And, you know, always, I think the fear at the back of or the front of every Tottenham fan's minds, I would say, is we're going to spend a few weeks bartering and negotiating. And
we've already spent a week bartering.
Yeah, I know. That's a short amount of time in Tottenham, for Tottenham Hotspur. A week is nothing. And the fear is we're going to do all this negotiating and then come a few weeks down the line, the deal won't get done, and then we're going to be back at square one looking for a different centre-back and going to be scrambling around. And that's not what we want to be doing. I think we need to be more ruthless, and that's what Paratici was talking about when he said, you know, when you see a player who you really believe is the one to really help you and you believe in him, and you're certain about this player, you pay the money and you move on. You don't miss out on him for a few million. And that's just a situation where Tottenham it's happened to Spurs so often. Over the past 20 years under Daniel Levy's leadership. We've missed out on players through the case of a few million so many times, and it's held us back every single time.
And this is exactly what the quotes from Paratici is what we were talking about a few days ago, saying, if you want a player, if you think he's good enough, if you value him, then go spend a few million extra. You know what I mean? It's worth it. It's better than being gazumped or like not being able to get the deal done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And that was a breath of fresh air reading those quotes from Paratici. But you know, at the end of the day, I think those quotes from him were before he started working at Spurs, and now he's working with Daniel Levy, who knows, who we know that he is willing to miss out on a player. For the case of a few million. We know that for a fact because it's happened so many times.
Yeah.
So we need Paratici to be able to convince him that this isn't the right direction. If you want to be a big club moving forward and you want to be challenging for where you want to be, being in the Champions League and challenging for big honours, you can't afford to be missing out on players for the sake of a few million if you really believe they're going to be the player to push you on. And it's disheartening to think that it's a possibility again, even though, look, I'm still fairly confident this deal will get done, to be honest. I think from the noise we're hearing,
we didn't seem confident yesterday.
No, but I am still fairly confident it is going to get done. But it's sad to think it is a possibility that we'll walk away from the deal for the sake of a few million again, and then having to go for cheaper options, and then these cheaper options are not going to be the players that we really need to push us forward. And it's just same old with Tottenham is the fear.
And there's also the fear that, you know, we're 2 weeks away from the season now.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, all we've signed is a sub goalkeeper and a very, very good prospect, right?
Yeah.
You can't guarantee that Brian Hill's going to come in and hit the ground completely running straight from the off. You got to assume that there's going to be a bedding in period, at least a couple of months. You know what I mean, for Brian Hill at the very minimum. We've sold Toby Alderweireld, we've sold Eric Lamela, we've sold Juan Foyth, and it looks as though there's more going out the door in terms of the Sissoko. We're trying to get rid of Davison Sanchez, you know. So we're completely weaker than we were last year. As it stands right now, we're weaker than we were last season, and we're 2 weeks to go to the season. So if we don't get a move on very quickly, we're already going to be playing catch up.
Yeah, I think we will. And how many times as well have we had a slow start to the season because our transfer business is left so late? Not only do we have an unsettled squad come the start of the season, and usually in August there's about 2 or 3 games. So usually those games we like forego pretty much every single season.
Yeah.
We usually have an unsettled squad. We have players coming in late who need to settle in and have a pre-season. How many times as well have we seen players saying, "Oh, I didn't have a pre-season last summer because I signed on deadline day and it was difficult for me to kind of get up to speed." And that's happened many, many times as well. And we were hoping this summer, you know, Paratici came in a few weeks ago, and we're hoping maybe we can get a move on quickly. And you know, he's been in the job nearly a month now.
Yeah.
And we were thinking, hopefully, because he came in 1st of July, started working, we can maybe get a move on quickly, get a head start in the transfer market, and not always leave it so late. But yet again, with Levy and with how well we're dealing with things, it seems we're going to leave it late again.
Yeah.
And we're leaving it, even now is late. It's already too late.
Yeah, of course it is. But he's Daniel Levy's expected Paratici to come in and in a month work complete wonders. He hasn't been given the time or the resources to do exactly what he needs to do. That's the facts of the matter.
I think he has. But it's not up to Paratici to sign the dotted line and go for the negotiation.
But that's what I'm saying. He hasn't been given the time. He's only had a month here, not even a month yet. It's like 28 days he's officially been in the job, and he's obviously not been given the resources he needs to succeed in the job because he hasn't signed Romero yet. Because if he was given the resources, Romero would be through the door last week.
He should have been through the door a while ago. You know. Same with Golini. I think these deals should have been done beforehand. I don't know why we wait so long all the time. Every single season we wait and wait and wait. And it's going to be difficult now for the first few games of the season to make a big impact.
We've got a hard start as well.
Very
We've got
hard
Man City at the start. We've got Chelsea and Arsenal coming up pretty soon. You know what I mean? It's like it's not like
we have to rely on players who are already here. That's
reality. Weaker than last year.
I know, but that's the reality, and that's Tottenham for you, which is very, very annoying. And unless we have a very busy. Well, we were told it's going to be very busy this week. We've already... Look, stuff has happened, I'm not going to lie, but we need to be extremely busy over the next 2 weeks if we're going to be ready for the start of the season.
Simon Cohen in the comments, big up Simon. He says Barca want Romero. We did tweet about this last night, but we poured cold water on it. A very reliable Barca journalist. I mean, it's quite well known that Barca are completely skint at the moment. They will not be signing anyone anywhere near as much as Cristian Romero.
They can't even afford to get their free transfers on the squad yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So let alone...
I mean, Barcelona are in a massive mess right now. I mean... We don't know what sort of lineup Barcelona are even going to play next year. They need to get like 200 grand off the wage bill or something.
Something like that. A lot of money. So before they can even add Aguero and Memphis Depay and whoever Eric Garcia and these players they've signed over the summer already on a free transfer, they need they're in desperate need to get rid of players. Yeah, so I can't see them splashing big money on a centre back right now.
John Fitzpatrick in the comments says we are skint as well, and yes, we might be in debt. Spurs might be in debt, but our debts can't compare to what the Spanish and Italian clubs are going through right now.
And also, I think
we've got long-term loans that are helping us out and stuff like that, like Barcelona, Real Madrid, and all these teams. They can't afford to pay wages at the moment.
But also, I think our revenues are coming back. We've got fans back in stadiums next season. We'll get the supposed naming rights is in the offing. We've got sponsorship for the training kits, and also you've got to remember as well the events that all got cancelled.
AJ's coming to the
exactly. Rain. AJ's having a boxing fight. I'm sure the concerts are going to be rearranged, and we're going to have more of them at the time.
Lady Gaga in October.
So I think
NFL as well.
Yes, we were hit hard, by the pandemic, but I think it's easy to forget. I think we were hit harder than most only because we were set to earn more than most. So because we were going to earn 200 million and we lost it, that's 200 million that maybe other clubs weren't even going to earn. So that's why we were hit harder, not because we lost more money. It's because we were going to earn more money than
So
most.
projected
Exactly, was higher than a lot other clubs.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily. So that's why we were hit so hard by the pandemic. So I think once these things start happening again and we get the ball rolling in our financials, I think we're going to be okay.
But it was also obviously massively bad timing in terms of building a £1 billion stadium and then the revenues to be cut straight away.
Of course. But those revenues will return. Now fans are back in stadiums, so we're going to get those back. Obviously, the money that we lost, that's never going to come back. But I think we're in a lot better situation than a lot of other clubs, despite the fact that it was bad timing for us. I think long term looking, I think we're going to be okay financially. And Levy's even said, like long term we're okay. It's just maybe short term it's a bit tight, but I think long term we're fine.
But the facts of the matter is they're bartering over 7 million. And if they're talking about, I don't know how true it is, but they were talking about a deal that's going to be structured over many years, you know. So what's 7 million in the grand scheme of things when this deal is structured over many years?
Of course, that's nothing. Like from a fan's point of view, it's a no-brainer. You get him through the door. Paratici said that, but we know Levy. We know how he does things, and unfortunately, I'm hoping he's going to change, but at the moment, it doesn't seem so. Seems like we're going to be like he's willing to go down to the wire to shave off a few million.
Yeah,
and that's always how it's been, which is annoying. I've just seen, by the way, the Spain team for the Olympics. If anyone's interested, Brian Hill is not in the 11, so he looks like he's going to be on the bench again, which is for me a bit perplexing because I think every time he's come on, he's made an impact, and it's a bit weird he doesn't get the starts. But there you go.
Who's playing on the wings?
Asensio and Dani Olmo.
I mean, like they're established.
Yeah,
players,
fair enough. But like Brian Hill has been very good, I think, from what I've seen. So I thought he might get a start, but
they probably see him as like a young up and coming player, which he is, impact player off the bench.
All right, well, kickoff is at 12 o'clock. So if you want to see maybe Brian Hill come on and him in action, he is going to be playing the Olympics later today against Argentina. So that might be a nice game later on.
Argentina lost 4-1 in their last game. Apparently, they've got a really weak team. So I think it could be an onslaught from the Spanish, and hopefully Brian Hill can come on and weave his magic. But we've got a few other headlines to bring you. The next one is from the Times, and he says, they say Moussa Sissoko could follow Toby Alderweireld out to the Middle East, with the Frenchman potentially going out to the Middle East. So Don Paratici has clearly got some contacts in the Middle East.
Yeah, and they seem to be stepping up their bids to get some established Premier League stars. Maybe they want to build up their leagues and stuff like that. We've seen it before with other leagues previously, like in China and whatnot, and America, where they start signing players maybe near the end of their career in the Premier League to try and build up their leagues and build up a bit of a notice. And maybe that's what's happening at the moment in the Middle East. But look, I think for Sissoko, he's also a player who's one of our top earners, believe it or not, 95 grand a week. And it's going to be very, very important to get him off the wage bill. And even if it's not a big price, I think it's important to sell him and make sure that we free up that space, because he's one, again, who I think he's not up to it anymore at Tottenham. And I think at the moment we need to get him off the wage bill. We have to get those big wages off, because it's 95 grand a week for a player who's just no longer a player who we can rely on is way too much. Yeah,
I completely agree. And, with the departure of Juan Foyth, Toby Alderweireld, Eric Lamela, Danny Rose, Paulo Gazzaniga, apparently we've reduced around 280,000 pounds from the wage bill so
which
far.
Which is important. Which is very important, and it's positive. I think
add Sissoko to that, you're talking nearly 400.
Yeah, I do wonder whether we're waiting to sell before we really go pushing the boat out in the transfer market. We've done that before. I know that we've done that before, but I'm hoping that we push it out before, because that's what big clubs do. They sign who they need to sign, and then Once they've done that, then they start selling players. But Spurs, we do things the other way around, because I think we get worried that we're not going to get the players out if we bring people in, and then we're worried that we're going to be spending wages on the players who are still here, stuck here, and these new players. That's how Tottenham think of things.
But how far do they want to go? Because we've got so many out already. So like, let's start bringing some of the big players in. That's going to come and command the first team spot from the off.
Big clubs always do it in a different way. They usually get their play. They're not worried basically about getting players out. They know who they need to get out, but they're more focused on getting the players they need in, and then if they can get them out, they get them out, and that's how they see it. But Spurs are definitely operating a different way.
What do you think's going on with the right back situation? Because it's gone completely quiet on Tomiyasu. Completely quiet. No other right backs really linked to us.
Yeah.
Aurier seems like he's off. He wants out.
Yeah, but again, I would have thought he'd been out of the door by now, to be fair, with a year left on his contract. I know he's back in pre-season, but you would have thought at this stage, with 2 weeks to the season to go, we would have got rid of him, but he's still there, and maybe that's holding things up for Tottenham in terms of just going for another right back. Maybe we're waiting to sell him. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case at all. So maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's what's being held up at the moment. The Tomiyasu deal, we know that's we're still negotiating for him. He's still at the Olympics.
I don't buy that. I think we're having second thoughts on Tomiyasu.
Maybe the ankle injury as well is stop slowing things down.
I mean, we were €2 million away in valuation for like a month now, literally. Or like 3 weeks or whatever it is. I mean, I don't buy this whole Olympics thing. Like, we signed Brian Hill from the Olympics. It doesn't make sense to me. And like, even a little ankle injury, I don't even think it was that serious. Apparently, he was in contention to play today.
So yeah, maybe we are having second thoughts, which is a bit of a shame if that's the truth. But as long as we sign an upgrade, I'm not. If it's not Tomiyasu, then it's not Tomiyasu. But we need to get another one in desperately. Desperately. Dumfries hasn't gone anywhere yet, has he?
No, he hasn't. And there's been no real talk on him.
No, because I think a lot of thoughts maybe he could be going to Barcelona, but I don't think he's going to be going there anymore.
No.
So maybe he could be available. That would be definitely one I would definitely go for, Dumfries. He's one who excites me a lot.
What do you think about Dumfries defensively?
Well, we didn't see too much of him defensively in the Euros. He was so offensive. They played a back three, didn't they?
That's what I'm saying.
So I guess we don't really know, but I know he's big physically. He's 6'2", so he's like, not only is he big physically, he's like lightning quick. He's very, very strong. He's good offensively. So I think he has the right attributes to be coached in a defensive way by the right manager. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. I don't think he's a player, for example, like Matt Doherty, where if he's not coached properly, and if you don't get him very correct in his positioning and stuff like that, he can be caught out very easily. I think he's different because he has those natural attributes to, for example, like Kyle Walker, where if he got caught out of position, his pace would get him out.
Is he as quick?
He's not as quick as Walker, but he's very quick. He's very, very quick, and he's very tall and strong. So I wouldn't worry about him defensively if we can train him properly, I think.
Morlar here says Pascozzi looks like our best right back. I mean, he is 18 years of age. Yes, he has looked impressive. Do you feel like he might go on loan this year, or do you think that he could be in and around the first team?
No, I don't think so. I know he's had a good couple performances at pre-season, but you can't.
I mean, even to get called up to your national team, no matter what national team it is, it's quite impressive.
Who do you play? What national team?
Estonia.
Look, I don't think I wouldn't get too invested in Pascozzi being a part of the team just yet. I've liked what I've seen, but I'm not going to say just yet he's going to be part of the first team.
He's a natural centre back, by the way.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know just yet about. It's just a couple of good performances. You can't read too much into it.
Yeah. Next headline from Fabrizio this morning was breaking news about an hour ago. Celtic have opened up talks with Tottenham to sign Joe Hart as new keeper. Negotiations are ongoing between the two clubs. In terms of... Yeah, it's good news, obviously. I mean, how much negotiations can there be? I mean, look, whatever Celtic offer, just accept it and move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even if it's 500,000, 250,000, whatever it is, because
whatever it is, it's profit.
Another player who we don't need anymore. We've got Golini in. He is a player who I'm sure wages-wise he's probably on, not a lot, but he's probably on like 40 grand a week, I would
Something
say.
like that.
Yeah, so I think another space being wasted. So I think it's important to get him out the door, and I think he'll be at Celtic as well. It's a decent move for him. A big club.
It's 50 grand a week.
50 grand a week, so there you go. So it's important, again, another player to get off the wage bill who we don't need.
Who signed off on signing Joe Hart and putting him on 50 grand a week?
Well, he was on a free and he was a sub-keeper, so I'm not surprised he's on that.
Yeah, do you remember when he came, all that crap Jose was coming out with? Oh, this guy's the best goalkeeper in England.
Yeah, best English goalkeeper. Yeah, he really believes that, but he never impressed me when he played, Joe Hart. Never. I think the same problems that he suffered with past couple years past more than couple years, past 5 years, were evident at Tottenham. He kept getting beaten from range, kept getting beaten low to his left. Yeah. It happened time and time again. So I think Joe Hart, I think it's time for him to move on. And look, we've shown someone already, so we know his days are numbered.
Yeah, I mean, Celtic will probably be his last club, to be honest. I mean,
I think Celtic's a good move for him.
Yeah, probably. I mean, but still, even in the Scottish League, I still think his flaws will be shown. I do think that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if he'll start for Celtic. He probably won't even start for Celtic.
Well, they have Craig Gordon, don't they?
Yeah,
starts.
How old's he?
He's old, very old. So I think Joe Hart could be their number one, to be fair.
Maybe.
I think he could be their number one.
But
yeah, look, I don't wish him any ill will or anything. He had 1 year here. He played a few games, and that's it. Wish him all the best if he goes to Celtic.
Yeah, definitely. The last one we've got is just back on the Cristian Romero conversation, and we've brought it to you over the last couple of days, but Atalanta have already found their top target in terms of replacing Cristian Romero, so obviously that's a great sign. There's no other clubs linked with him, Cristian Romero, so it is a good sign, and they're saying their two targets, if Cristian Romero leaves, will be Demiral of Juventus and Sven Botman of Lille. I mean, would you look at either of those two?
Demiral, I really like Demiral, but the only thing is he's had that really bad injury and he hasn't quite been the same since just yet. It's not to say that he can't recover from it and get back to how good he was before it, and he's still young as well. But at the moment, you got to say there's just a bit of a question mark on him. So I wouldn't want to splash big money. I can understand Atalanta doing that because I think when the potential he does have to replace someone like Romero for a club like Atalanta, I think it's worth the risk. But for a club like Tottenham, who can go for an Acquire or Romero or something like that, I think we're better off going for someone who we know right now is very much in form and is one of the more informed centre backs in Europe. So that's for me. Sven Botman had a very good season at Lille.
Yeah,
I like him. I like Sven Botman. I would like him with Romero because he plays on the left side. Romero plays on the right. Of course, like if you're telling me, but I would like Sven Botman instead of Milenkovic, basically, not instead of Romero.
Would you say Sven Botman over Milenkovic? It's a difficult one, isn't it?
It's a very difficult one. I think Botman will be more expensive, definitely. But I do think he would be better. I think he's more naturally a left-sided player on the centre back. So to be fair, yeah, I probably would rather Sven Botman than Milenkovic. But I can understand if we do go for Milenkovic over Botman because of the price, and that's how I see it. But I would, I'd be interested in Botman for sure.
All right, well, we've got a couple of people waiting in the back end, and let's get Gail on first, and let's see what he has to say. Gail, how you doing, my friend?
Hey guys.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you guys?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Long time no speak. Did you have a good summer?
Yeah, well, I am having a good summer. I'm back home, and I have some stuff. I'm applying to college right now. I'm in high school.
Okay.
So it's a lot of like writing essays and research about college and all that stuff, and hopefully Tottenham will keep me happy.
I wouldn't hold your breath on that one.
Let's hope so, Gail. Let's hope so. We're all hoping, but good luck with all your projects and everything like that. But in terms of Spurs, the Cristian Romero deal, is this a deal that you think that is going to get over the line?
Yes, because Toby's now gone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that it would be a deal that was definitely over the line if Toby still stays at the club, because we still would have, our old three, Dyer, Sanchez, and then Toby. It wouldn't make sense for Levy to say, okay, let's bring in another. But now Toby is gone. It seems like it makes a lot of sense for somebody like Romero or Milenkovic to come in and to fill a spot and to keep that back line strong or even make it stronger. So I think with Paratici working so hard now, with definitely Romero as the top priority deal, it should get over the line. It should be a matter of time, hopefully, but we'll see. Yeah.
Hmm. Are you excited about the new season going into it with Nuno now at the helm? He has had a few preseason games. He's been in the job for about 6 weeks. We've got Man City coming up. Do you think we're in a good position right now to be ready for the start of the season, or are you a bit worried that maybe we should really have more business done at this stage?
I think, well, definitely, I would have liked to have a few more players coming in, maybe some other players going out. But I think it's gonna be a season to have not so much of a high hope as we have had last season. It's a season with a new manager, with some new players. It's a season to implement a system that can help us keep winning constantly. And I hope Nuno really takes his chance this, especially this first half of the season, where he gets used to his new players, the players coming in, and really get a system in place for this whole team to build upon for the later half of the season and the seasons to come. This season, I think it's important for us to stay patient with Nuno a bit, and to stay patient with Brian Hill that's coming in, and the new goalkeeper that's coming in, and some of the players that's gonna feel different. Maybe Bergwijn or Lucas playing in a new way, and maybe Lo Celso and Ndombele playing in a slightly different style than we are already used to. I think it's important to stay patient with that, and to wait for us to really start winning every game and get constantly good. But it will be, I say that as the most ideal situation. It'll be hard for that to happen, nonetheless, because the Premier League is competitive, and teams like City and Chelsea do have a lot more money than us, so that they can already get great players. But yeah, it is what it is. I think it's going to be a time for us to stay patient and really look forward to the things that can happen this season.
Yeah. Having said that, what do you think what are your expectations coming into this season? What do you reckon our ceiling is coming into this season?
In terms of league finish, I would say Europa League spot finish. I wouldn't say that's too out of reach, and I wouldn't say that's too easy either. So Europa spot, maybe top 6. I don't know. I have no idea how Nuno will go about with this season and how consistent we are with winning. We will win games, because we do have.
I bloody well hope so.
Yeah, because we do have very good players like Son, and Lo Celso, and just players who are in the club for a long time now. But what matters is those games that we feel that we must take on, but sometimes, in the last few seasons we've lost. So we, for example, in this last season, in the middle of the season, where we were at the top of the table, and then Liverpool was falling out a little bit, we were winning games, but then we stopped. It is those games that we need to start winning to keep ourselves consistent in getting 3 points. But like I said, a Europa League spot would be great. A return to non-conference league European football would be great.
That would be nice.
And yeah, and then I would be glad to see us really going for like a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup, like really going for it hard. Getting through every round, getting to a semi-final or even a final. That would be great to see.
And not sacking our manager 5 days before the final.
I am not either. That was a horrible decision. But yeah.
What's your thoughts on Harry Kane? Do you reckon he's staying, or are you worried that he's still going to leave?
Um, I think Nuno likes him a lot, and I also think
Mm.
Paratici likes him a lot.
I don't
But
think there's
Manchester
anyone
City
that
has a
doesn't
lot of
like him a lot.
yeah, but Manchester City has a lot of money. That's the problem. So honestly, I don't know. I would love for him to stay, obviously because of his quality. But I don't know. Like I've said, I think a while ago at the last game of the season when I came on the call, I wanted Kane to play somewhere else. Um, well, that is still the case if he really wants to be some. If he comes out in an interview say um, this week or something saying, okay, I don't want to play at Tottenham anymore because my heart is at a club that can maybe take me to a league title or Champions League title. Then if he comes out saying that, obviously I've watched Kane since the start of me supporting this
Mm.
club, and he has come above the ranks, and he's a player that will leave the biggest mark in my heart as a player, as a Tottenham player. And when I look back at my time supporting this club when I'm later, in a later stage of life, not that I will stop supporting the club, is that later stage I would say yes, the player that I will remember the most is Harry Kane, and if he really thinks that it is time to move on, if I were the manager, I would sympathize with him and say, okay, let's work this out. Maybe we can get a good deal in place so that if you leave, we can also fill up the spot. It will be hard, but we can try. And we also get a lot of money for you as well. So, look, I don't know how how Nuno or Paratici will go about with this Harry Kane deal, but I hope that the best outcome would come in the end. Um, whether it's him leaving and us getting an influx of financial support to buy players that can fill up spots and leaking holes in our squad, or he stays and continue to score for us and to keep us in a winning state. I think both would work, but I would definitely wish for him to stay if he is willing to stick with the club. Yeah.
All right, Gail. Absolutely brilliant call. And thank you very much for coming on, my friend.
Yeah, thank you guys.
No
Speak soon,
problem
Gail.
at all.
Nice
No
to see
problem
you.
at all. We'll speak to you soon.
Yeah.
Come on, you Spurs. That was Gail. Great to chat to him as always. Next up, we have got Aravind.
Aravind.
Aravind, how you doing, my friend?
Good, man. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, very good. Very good. Good to have you back on the show. Is there anything in specific that you wanted to talk about today, Tottenham related?
Yeah, and especially for the Romero deal. The thing is, I just looking through it. So it's apparently on loan in Juventus, and we are having a discussion with Atlanta. So
Yeah.
they need to buy him, and we need to buy it from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that the reason why it's taking a long time is because of both the contracts that needs to be done, and that's the reason why I think so. It's been holding for a long time, regardless of 5-6 million, which has been discussed. I think because even they want a good replacement with the price which we pay, regardless of Daniel Levy, who needs to pay them of this thing. So the reason I think so, that's the only reason which we're holding him. But I hopefully we get that deal done, because more than filling our team, we have a lot to fill in our first 11, and that's the most worrying thing. And I've seen Alice to go report saying that this transfer window is going to be a lot of clear outs. We're going to get in more players. There's going to be a whole reshape. So I haven't other than the two transfers, I haven't seen anything positive yet as of now. Hopefully by the end of this week we have some few signings up and someone who's outgoing to like actually boost our squad. And especially we need to like at least get a good first 11 before, in terms of a defense, attack. Attack is okay, and midfield is something which we already have. But in terms of defense, if we can get that thing sorted, then we may have some time to like think about our uh filling our squad members. So these things needs to be done really fast. I think so. The reason it's going very slow is because of getting our manager late, getting a sporting director, and giving him a few days for it, and it needs to boost up fast.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
is that going to hold us back during the season? The fact we did all these
Yeah,
things late, and the fact that we're again a couple weeks away from the season starting, and we're still got so much work to do. And other clubs, Man United signing Varane yesterday. Other clubs are making big moves. Liverpool signed a Konate a couple months ago, even, and Spurs are still here
I mean, they
twiddling
signed
their
him when the
thumbs
season was
and
still going on.
yeah, we're just here still twiddling our thumbs, negotiating and trying to get people in and out still. And there's still so much work to be done. How much will that affect us, you think, at the start of the season?
look, I agree with the thing. The reason why we are in this, we're so dismantled with this thing is because we haven't done any outgoings in the last 2 seasons, which has held us back over here. So, yes, this season is something where everyone is expect. I'm not expecting too much from it, but it's better to like get the deals which is needed this summer, at least to like get a squad going on for the future. So that's something which we need to do, which we haven't done. Yes, we if we don't get the signings which may help back in the first few games, I agree with that, but at least get the targets which we need for each position. If we are not going to do that, then again it's going to be the same thing for the next season, the next transfer window, and all that stuff. So it's better to like at least it's first we need to clear out a squad and get the important signings we need. And in terms of center back, it's a right back, and then a lot of positions, and we're not talking about our midfield, which we need to boost it. I feel that we need a replacement for Ericsson, which we don't have, and striker. I don't know, and it all depends upon Kane. So there's a lot of positions which needs to be filled, but at least if we can get that done by the end of this transfer window, it's a positive one.
Do you think that if we do get this revamp of the defence, we can push on and maybe get top four this year? Is that a possibility? Because the way I look at it, last year, if we did have a bit of a better defence, we would have probably made top four.
Yeah, that's something which I agree. Because if you see our attack is really strong, we have really good options. Our midfield isn't bad. The reason why we were let down last season is because of individual errors, bad mistakes at the back, where games which we should have won, we have let it down by especially scoring a goal up front, and then everything that goes behind. So and to not agree that we were the team which had the most goals in Europe. I've scored the most goals. So that's something. It's the problem with us is never of scoring goals. It was just like how to get the defensive errors done. So for us to at least to challenge, we need to get two top defenders at the back, and we need to get rid of Dyer, Sanchez. I don't want them in the club, and how much ever we can squeeze the money out of them, it's better to get rid of them because they've given a lot of years without any prospect. So it's better to get in fresh new players who are young, who are proven, and who have the potential rather than having this place done. So it's there is a lot to be done at this club right now to like revamp the squad and hoping for the season next season. It all depends upon how our team looks by the end of the transfer window.
And I think no, I was going to say how important do you reckon a Tungi Ndombele and a Giovanni Lo Celso could be next year? Because obviously Ndombele, you would say that had a good season last year, but still hasn't hit the heights that we know he can reach. Giovanni Lo Celso, he's been held back by injuries at Tottenham Hotspur. If they can both knuckle down and really hold down a spot in that team next year, how much of a difference can they make?
the thing about the thing about Tangi is that he's a really good player, but I'm pretty sure he has more potential than what he's showing on the pitch because he's really good with the ball. But whenever we see him, we see the glimpses. But I feel he still lacked a bit confidence last season, better than what he was in the first season. But I feel he can be played in a much better role where he's more confident with the ball, and if he makes mistakes, we it's not too much pressure on him because when he doesn't have the pressure, when he has the ball, we know what he can do with it. So I just wish he plays with more confidence next season, with a much better role given with attack, and especially when if we are playing attacking style, that's especially what's needed from him. And he'll be a really crucial member. And especially for Lo Celso, it's very hard to judge because he was injured most of the time. So he's a really good player, but he needs to keep himself fit for at least to show up some games. So that's something these both players needs to do. And especially I think so with the style which we play, they both can play together and they can be really helpful in our midfield.
All right.
All right, brilliant. Aravind, thank you so much for coming on a brilliant call as always. Have a good rest of the day, my friend.
Thank you. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Let's react to a couple of tweets people are sending. People are sending us things on Twitter. Remember, you can tag us at WeAreTottenhamTV on Twitter for any content or opinions you want us to react to. This is from Defoe's Stereo. He says, if Villa want Winks, should we not be looking into Konsa? Do you think we would... the Konsa one, obviously, he signed a new contract, didn't he, end of last season? So that one pretty quiet. I don't think Konsa's an option at the moment.
The thing is with Konsa, I think it's a bit similar to Ben White in terms of you're going to have to overpay massively for him.
Big premium, yeah.
Yeah, big premium. Premier League premium. He's English as well. Just signed a new contract. Aston Villa got money as well. So I think it's a no-go for us, to be honest. I think it's a no-go.
You're going to have to pay a similar price to what we're paying for Romero. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And Romero's a lot better. So
I mean, it's... And look at Ben White, for God's sake. Like, 50 million. I know he's a good player. I'm not doubting that. But 50 million for him.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy money. It's crazy money. Varane cost 15 million less than that or something. Like, come on, man.
Another tweet from Spurs TNT says, sorry, lads, but I don't believe Romero will get through the door. I've been around long enough, and so have you guys, and we have seen this before. Haggling over a few million quid, not happening.
Yes, we have seen it before, but also people do forget that we have signed many good players over the years. You know, how much did we pay for Tanguy and Ndombele?
Big money.
How much did we pay for Giovanni Lo Celso? How much did we pay for Davinson Sanchez? How much did we pay for Moussa Sissoko, Eric Lamela? You know, we've spent big money on players. There's no two ways about it. Yes, we miss out on a lot of players by haggling and stuff like that, but we also do spend big money sometimes. So there's arguments to say that it will happen. There's arguments to say it won't happen. But reliable sources, when you listen to someone like Fabrizio Romano, he's confident of it happening. And he knows more about the ins and outs of transfer goings than me and you or anyone watching now.
I think people are just scared of what we've seen before. I do think at the moment I'm still confident of it happening, but you just know it is a possibility we are going to miss out on him for a few million quid. That's the worry, because the only thing I would say is like when it's another club, like if it's Liverpool, Man City, United, if they're negotiating for Romero right now, like it's happening, it's going to happen. They want him, they're going to get him. With Spurs, it's like we actually might not. There's a possibility, but I am confident. To
be fair though, the Varane to Man United rumours were around for a while and were touring and throwing for a while, and then it suddenly got done. So it happens. It's a negotiation process, and obviously Atalanta are going to have to bring in their people to replace him. Look, am I saying that it's definitely going to get done? Obviously not, because it's Tottenham Hotspur. You go into it with your eyes wide open. But
I think now it's more likely than not. Yeah.
I think right now it's more likely that it is going to happen than it's not going to happen. That's what I think.
Brian Hill, hashtag welcome Brian Hill, says, why are we not in for Sabitzer? He's only cost 20 million and he's class. Yeah, those Sabitzer rumours have been around for a very, very long time. But I think at the moment, to be honest, the fact that we ended the season poorly, we only got Conference League. He's a player who wants to be playing Champions League. I don't think Spurs represent a big enough upgrade on Leipzig right now for him to be pushing about out to come to Spurs. He's with 1 year left on his contract. I'm sure he has a lot of options, so he's probably considering them at the moment. And as much as Tottenham want him, and I think he's a good player who I would want through the door, I think. Look, you got to say the season we had and last couple of seasons we had is probably holding us back in that deal. To be honest,
it's gone so quiet on Sabitzer. I mean, he's got 1 year remaining on his contract. The fee doesn't seem to be too much. It seems like a steal for someone of that quality. It just doesn't seem like he's in talks or anyone's talking about Sabitzer at the moment. It's a weird one.
Yeah, I just don't think at the moment, unless
Even if it's not for Tottenham, though.
Huh?
Even if it's not for Tottenham, I'm saying.
I know, but I think he's just considering his options at the moment. Also, he's at the Euros, so that takes a bit of time and everything. So
They went out, last 16? He should be back in
they
training
went out
by now.
to Italy round 16.
Yeah. So, I mean, the French boys are already back with us.
Yeah, so
So
now,
he should be
now,
back. Yeah, now's the time.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's probably why nothing's moved yet. But I hope he gets. I'd love to get Sabitzer, but I just have a feeling he's not going to come now.
It's obviously, well, not obviously, but it's Harry Kane's birthday today. So
28 years old.
28 or 29?
28.
Oh, he's getting the year. I thought it was 29 today.
No, he's 28. He's 28.
Yeah, so obviously happy birthday to Harry Kane.
And of course,
we wish him
Sky
all the
Sports
best.
tweet out, it's Harry Kane's birthday today. Happy birthday to Kane. How much will Tottenham take for him? That's what they tweet out today.
They're such wankers, I swear.
They're just trying
They
their
just
hardest to force
They
it.
just push this agenda all
Every
the
day.
time.
Every day they tweet out,
How much is Harry Kane worth?
How
much
much?
is Harry Kane worth?
What do you think Tottenham will take for Harry Kane? How much to get Harry Kane out of Tottenham? They're desperate to get him out of there. They're literally playing every card they can to try and force that move. But to be fair, I can understand it because it's massive news for Sky Sports and will get them clicks and everything if that move does happen. So it's within their interest, unfortunately.
Of course it is.
That's the reality.
And they've just tweeted out Tottenham, Harry Kane 2021, 49 appearances, 33 goals, 17 assists. Is that putting him in the shop window? That's what it seems like.
Look how good he is. Exactly. I don't think he needs to be in the shop window. I think everyone knows how good he is. But 28 is an age where you start thinking about the next stages of your career. That's
But
the
like
truth.
he said in the summer, he feels like he's got a whole other career to play.
So do I. I think he could even be 30 and have another 5-6 years at the top. I really believe that the way he plays and the way he looks after himself.
It's the way like big players are lasting much longer these days.
He's not like Wayne Rooney, who was like drinking all the time and having
Wayne
parties.
Rooney.
And Rooney was done by 29. He was done pretty much.
Yeah.
Kane is different. He looks after himself. He's very focused on his career, and he wants to make sure that he doesn't leave he wants to have the longest career as possible.
You got to remember Rooney did start at 16 as well.
Yeah, he started a lot younger in terms of playing week in, week out in the Premier League.
Top flight, yeah.
Yeah, so that's also another thing. But we know Rooney didn't look after himself. He admitted it. He admitted he didn't look after himself.
And we can see it right now how he's not looking after himself.
So did you see the other day? He injured one of his players.
Yeah, I saw he's out for like
2 months.
2 months. Yeah.
Imagine doing that. Then you have a few bad results and you start blaming injuries. It's like, it's your fault, Wayne. You injured them.
Unbelievable.
Funny. But yeah, happy birthday to Kane anyway. Is anyone else in the back end calling? That's it. All right.
I think that might be that for today's stream, to be honest. Been going for an hour. We've got 1,065 viewers, 190 likes. Unless anyone does call in the next minute or so, I think that's the kind of all the topics we wanted to get through this morning, isn't there? Unless you got anything else?
Yeah. No one's really tweeting us at the moment. Just someone says, can we get Romero if the deal goes through? What, for Joe Hart? I don't think that's going to have I don't think that's going to have any relevance, unfortunately. Someone says, lads, Mark MC Condell says, lads, deja vu all over again. Paratici will learn the hard way with Levy. Mitchell, Baldini, etc. are proof of that. I think Romero will go elsewhere. So some people starting to get worried that Romero deal isn't going to go through.
Tottenham Twitter was in overdrive yesterday, wasn't it?
Of course. Once we hear a whiff of difference in price and millions, we've just seen it all before, haven't we?
Yeah.
That's the reality. But I'm hoping this one will get over the line. I really am still very hopeful of that. So I'm not going to get too worried just yet.
Romano says he's dying to come to Tottenham. He can't wait to come to Tottenham.
Rajendra Bahandari says, why every season we've to face the same question about Harry Kane before the start of the season? We're getting good money and sell him and build a new team. So he's saying we should sell Kane. I mean, I think at the moment Kane means too much to us, and I think it's more important we keep him than get the money in. I understand the benefits because we do need this rebuild, and that would allow for it, kind of with a big cash injection. But at the moment, I still want Harry Kane to stay.
Crocodox with the super chat, and he says, "If the but big up yourself for the super chat, by the way. Thank you very much. Really appreciate." But he says, "If the transfer window is a bust, how long before the stadium becomes toxic? It'll become toxic before we even enter that stadium."
Yeah, it's already toxic, isn't it?
Yeah,
at the moment.
It's less toxic now than it was at the back end of last season. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think there's a bit more positivity, but we need to get the deals done.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's going to be very toxic. Last game of the season, it was extremely toxic,
Yeah,
wasn't it, in the stadium?
And obviously in the summer we had a few ENIC out staff and all that kind of things. But if we go into this season in the state we are in right now, there's going to be toxicity from the first game.
Louis Prada says Tomiyasu is starting for Japan in the Olympics today.
See?
So sounds like that ankle injury is not bad at all.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I was saying that he was in contention to start today.
Yeah, and he is going to be
and
starting.
he is starting. So I got a feeling that we're having second thoughts with Tomiyasu, or we use Tomiyasu as a kind of smokescreen for something.
Someone's tagged us in a tweet from Alfredo Padula. I think he's an Italian journalist, and he's reporting that Atalanta are going after Berardi. And someone, Cal, has asked, do you reckon this is a cash injection for Atalanta?
I mean, I don't know, man. They can make a signing without selling someone. They're a Champions League club.
Yeah, but maybe, yeah, I guess. Depends. But they've already made a few signings, haven't they?
Who have they signed?
They signed a centre-back the other day, Pizzella, and they apparently are looking at other centre-backs as well. So maybe it is something to do with money coming in. Because Berardi, I'd assume, would have cost some big money.
What, 30 million?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe they are getting ready for a big sale.
I hope so, man. I really hope so. I really want this to happen. But look, it's hard to read into stuff like that because, you know, Atalanta are a Champions League club. We don't know their financial state. Although, on the flip side of that, we know that Serie A clubs are very much struggling right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, maybe there could be something to it, but I don't know. It's hard to read into it like that.
All right, that's it, I guess.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. That was your Good Morning Tottenham. We'll be back with a watch-along for the game tonight. No, we won't be going to the game. Simeon and Josh Spurs Debates will be doing a live watch-along for you guys from the studio. So come and check out that. We'll have a few interviews after the game as well. So everyone, thank you for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.